Hello everyone, it's Cherie here again with you today, this time with a layout for the new Felicity Jane summer kit. The colours in this kit are absolutely gorgeous. There's lots of reds and blues and yellows. What I've done is chosen some papers that I think will go nicely with my photos that I'll be using today. So I've gone with the red grid, the blue stripe and this lovely polka dot. I think it's one of my favourites always. The photos I'm using today are my daughter Madison and her new love of baking. Every weekend she loves to bake cookies or cakes or a slice, and she's really enjoying that, so I want to make sure I document that. I've also got the chipboard stickers. This dinner plate I think will go nicely with the theme of my page today. And I've got the stamps, and even though they are summer themed, there's still a couple of stamps on here that I'll be using for this page. I've already got my title worked out and I've stuck the letters onto some baking paper just so that when I'm putting my page together I'll be able to position them on the page and work out where I want it before I stick it down. These puffy alphas are so cute. They've got like a grid pattern on them, and there's even these little puffy hearts down the bottom. They are adorable. Love those. I've got some of the die cuts ready to go out of the die cut pack. I've got that flare there as well, and my journaling is already printed ready to use. So I'll get started and show you how I'm going to put this one together. I'll be back in a moment. Okay, so first I'm going to create my background design. Now I've cut a piece of the striped pattern paper to go down the left hand side, so I'm just putting that into place. I've got the red grid which I'd like to go across the very top of the page, just like so. Just making sure I get that into the correct place, and then I've got the black polka dot to go across the bottom of the page. So just putting that one into place there. And now I've decided to add some stitching before I do anything else. So I'm just going to stitch across the top and bottom, and then I'm going to do some zigzag stitch down the edge of that striped paper. Okay, so you can see the zigzag there and just plain stitching across the top and the bottom. Okay, so I'm ready to move on now. So these photos are what I'm using today. So I'm thinking I'm going to position them just here, and I'm just playing around with what other little bits and pieces I can add to those. So I've got that chipboard piece which is a little dinner plate, and I've decided I think I'll put my title that way just for something a little bit different. Just wrapping it around that corner of the photo. And then of course I've got my journaling strips which will go underneath there. Alright, so I'm going to start sticking those down, I think. So I'm going to use some foam tape behind that first photo just to pop it off the page a little bit. Just peel off that backing. Okay, so I'm going to pick up that tag with the sticky on the back, and I've also got that layered over that second photo. So a little bit of tape runner on the back of the second photo, and then that whole piece can be stuck onto the page. Now I've sped this up a little bit because I'm just sticking all my letter stickers into place now. Just making sure I get them nice and straight. And then I can go ahead and add that little chipboard piece. It's actually a chipboard sticker, so it's got the backing on it that easily just peels off, and then that can just be stuck down. And there we go. So I've also got that little die cut that says today, so I'm going to pop that up in that top corner. A little bit of foam tape on the back of that. Just getting that into the right spot. And I've also got a little, I think it's a die cut out of the die cut pack. It's a little yellow star, so just a little pop of colour there, because there's a lot of yellows in those cookies, so I thought another little bit of yellow would go down well. Alright, and now I'm going to stick down my journaling strips. So I always tend to use the thin double-sided tape on the back of my journaling strips. I just find it easier than the tape runners, because sometimes the tape runners can be a little bit too wide to go along there nicely. Okay, so I'm going to stick those down now. And then I'm going to add a bit of stitching along those. So I'm just going to grab my machine out and I'm going to stitch along each strip, and then I'll pull those threads through to the back of the page and tie them off nicely. So I'll show you how that looks in a moment. And there you can see a nice little line of stitching along each strip. Okay, so now I'm going to add a couple of stamps to the page. Now this first one that says, "What's the plan?" which I thought was the perfect stamp for this page, because every weekend when we go shopping I say, "Okay, Madison, what's the plan for baking this weekend?" And then she chooses what she's going to make. So I'm just going to pop that above that second photo there. And then I'm going to grab another stamp out of the summer set, and it says or hashtag all the food. So that goes well with this theme as well. So that's just going to be stamped above that other stamp. Okay, also in this stamp set, it's two intersecting lines, so it's like a corner stamp, which I think will be a great little border in the top right hand corner of that second photo. So I'm just showing you how that looks, and I'm just going to pop it there on that top right hand corner, and just to balance that out, I'm going to add it to the bottom left of that first photo as well. I love the way it just creates that little subtle border around those photos. There we go, a little close-up look. So also I thought I need a little bit more yellow on the page, so I've grabbed the little star stamp out of that summer set, and I'm using my Stampin' Up stamp pad. I think it's Daffodil Delight, this particular colour. And I'm just going to add a couple of little yellow stars to the page. There we go. Okay, so I'll pop those things out the way. And now I'm going to add some black paint splatters to the page, just for added interest. So I'm just going to make my paintbrush nice and wet so I can make some good sized drips. Just covering up those other areas with some scrap paper so that I don't get that paint where I don't want it to go. So just nice little splatters down there. Then I'm going to do that top left hand corner as well. Also trying not to get paint on my twine up the top there, so I'm just trying to cover that up as well. There we go, a few more splatters there. And then I thought it needed some in that center area, so just adding a couple more little dots around that spot too. I'll give you a close-up look at those. Okay, so I'm going to add the date, and after I finished this page I thought it needed a little bit more red in that bottom corner, so I have actually, you'll see in the photos at the end and the close-ups that I've actually put a red label down there with the date over the top of where I just stamped that date. And then I decided to also add those flowers to the top left and another little red star. So I'm actually sticking this red star over the top of that other yellow one that I stamped earlier. I just thought it needed that little bit more red down the page. Okay, so I'll leave you with these close-up photos. I hope you've enjoyed seeing this page come together today. I'll be back again very soon with more to share, and I'll pop a link down below to the Felicity Jane shop, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.